What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today I want to talk about what I'm kind of calling weight loss's dirty secret, or I think a more accurate representation would be extreme or massive weight loss's dirty secret. So the reason that this topic even kind of came up and I decided to make this video was, obviously you guys know I have my own massive weight loss journey, but through this channel I have been able to interview people and just hang out with people that have their own massive weight loss stories, and everyone is so different with how they lost the weight. Everyone, you know, they have their own journeys, and I've been really lucky to be able to hear them and share a lot of them with you guys on the channel. But there's been a couple things that I've noticed that a lot of us have in common, and this video is about one of those things. So the dirty secret is that a lot of people actually develop a really messed up relationship with food. Now I want to make it very clear in the beginning of this video, I'm not sitting here trying to say I have a solution for this problem. That's not what this video is about. What I'm trying to do here is just talk about the topic and hopefully make it a little bit more normal. And because I feel like if there's never anybody talking about, you know, kind of hard topics or like, you know, off topics like this, then when you're dealing with it, when you're struggling with it and you're not able to find any videos on it, or you feel like you're kind of alone, then you feel even worse about your situation. And so that's why I felt like this video kind of made sense for me to make. Now I've talked about this on the channel before, but for me personally, I ended up developing like a binge eating disorder. It was pretty mild compared to a lot of other people, but it was still like this issue that I had with food that I didn't understand what was going on, and I really felt like I was broken. And it was really disheartening, and it was really frustrating. And I think I've realized kind of what happens with people when you lose a massive amount of weight. So usually if you are morbidly obese, you just have a bad relationship with food. That's kind of part of being morbidly obese for most people. Obviously there's always outliers, but for most people we have a skewed relationship with food. There's something that has happened maybe in our past that has really shaped our relationship with food in a really negative way. And then while we're losing weight, obviously it's always with the best intentions in mind. It's not like people are trying to lose weight and trying to mess up the relationship with food in a different way, but what ends up happening is that relationship with food that's kind of messed up, we end up, in a good way, we try to fix it, but then it goes from one extreme to another, and that's exactly what happened to me. So for me, obviously, before I lost the weight, food was like my comfort. I used it for everything. Anything you can think of, food was kind of what I would use to make myself feel happy if I felt sad or whatever it was, right? Food was my, you know, my comfort zone. And then going to the other extreme for me, when I started losing weight, again, it was all in a healthy way. I tried to do everything right. You know, I did the common sense diet, cutting out soda, junk food, fast food, like everything that makes sense in the beginning. But then I just started to really, like, that relationship with food that I had that was messed up, it ended up kind of seeping into my, you know, my good intentions. And then I ended up cutting out everything and really like not letting myself ever eat anything bad, and really just kind of being over restrictive. And that is where, like, I feel like a lot of people end up going when they lose a lot of weight. And again, I'm not trying to sit here and say this is an inherently like terrible thing that can't be fixed, because I genuinely believe that I was able to reverse it, and I don't think that it's the end of the world if it does happen to you. But I think it's good to talk about these things, so when you are going through it, you understand that it might happen. And if you understand that it might happen, hopefully you'll be able to, you know, combat it before it even does happen. But when it eventually does, you're able to have tools and have an idea of what you should do when you get to that point. So obviously that was my experience, but again, I've talked to a lot of people. I'm not gonna, you know, call anybody out here, but I've talked to a lot of people that have lost a lot of weight that have very, very, very similar experiences to that. And you know, they ended up in the same position through their weight loss journey. So it is a really prevalent thing that I've noticed talking to all these people that have lost, you know, 100, 200 pounds. Now, why does this happen? Again, like I said, I'm not sitting here saying I have all the answers, but there was one thing that I was thinking about that I really think plays into this, and it's the mentality of I need to get healthy, and thinking that healthy is this finish point that you're gonna reach, and then you'll be happy there, and you won't really have to stick to these drastic changes that you've made. And people, so they think, okay, I just need to get healthy, so I'm gonna make a drastic diet change that I know that I can't sustain, but like it's gonna get me down 65, 75 pounds, you know, it's gonna get me to my goal weight, and then once I get there, I'll be able to, you know, I'll be happy and I'll be able to do whatever I want. And then people realize when they do get there that, oh my gosh, like I have to do a lot of work to stay here. Like, it's not like this paradise that I'm just gonna get to my goal weight and I'll be happy. Like, getting to your goal weight is hard, but staying there and finding something that helps you stay there in a healthy way is, I believe, a lot harder than just getting there in itself. So this brings me to why I just really don't like diets that are very unsustainable. You guys know that my favorite word is sustainability, because yes, like a crazy diet that's gonna cut out like a whole macronutrient or something that's really gonna completely overhaul your whole diet and, you know, obviously get you in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight doing that no matter what, right? Like, those diets work. They're really crazy fad diets. They obviously are a fad for a reason, because they do work and they do get you down to weight. I'm not gonna sit here and say they don't, but what's important is how sustainable is that diet? How long can you sustain that? For a lot of people, it's not very long, right? So that's when you see a lot of people just gain the weight back, or what's even worse, I feel like, is people realize they can't sustain it, so they do even more drastic stuff, and they end up, maybe, like, I've seen a lot of people that I can tell have lost a lot of weight because I can just see it in their face. They're unhealthy, they're not eating enough, they're malnourished. And I've talked to a lot of people that are like, I've lost this weight and I'm literally terrified every day of food. I don't know what to do. And like, I've seen that you've gained, you know, 20 pounds from your lowest weight, and I don't understand how you did that without freaking out. And that's what it's all about. So what I think is super important is just have a plan once you do lose the weight. If you do it on some crazy diet, just have a plan for after that weight is off. Try and find something that keeps you active. Try and really make it a lifestyle change. As cheesy as that word sounds, it really is super true. And then obviously for me, what I think one of the best things to do when you are losing the weight is to try and make that diet, that weight loss diet that you're using, as similar to what you're probably going to be sticking to once you have the weight off as possible. Obviously the calories are going to be different, like that's obvious, but like, if you're able to keep it as similar as possible, you won't feel like you have to make this huge shift once you get the weight off. You're able to kind of just transition a little bit more smoothly. But again, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is more a discussion just on the topic. I'm not going to sit here and say I have an answer, because I really do think it's just part of the journey, especially when you have massive weight loss. Is like, you're going to have issues with food. Food is going to be an issue for a while. But I do think, and I really believe this from the bottom of my heart, that it is possible to overcome it. No matter how many years you feel like you need to struggle. Like, it's been almost 6 years for me now, and I'm just getting to a point within this last year where I feel like I can control my relationship with food. I'm not going to be stressing over it for the rest of my life, but that took a lot of time, and I feel like I really tackled it a lot harder than other people might, but I think that's what it takes, and I really do believe that it's possible. But again, if you are struggling with food and you've lost a lot of weight, or you're struggling with your relationship with food, I think that it's important to at least let people know that that's normal. Like, there's not something wrong with you because you're struggling with food, even though you've lost a lot of weight, right? Like, everyone wants to congratulate the person that lost 150 pounds, but people don't understand what that person is probably going through in their head, you know, day in, day out, every single meal. They're stressing. I remember being like that. Like, I really do. Trust me. Like, I know what that's like, and I think that that's pretty normal when it comes to massive weight loss. And I know that doesn't sound like, that's not very, like, yeah, I love hearing that, but I think it's true. And I think that's important to talk about, stuff that's true. Yeah, it's not super fun to hear, but it's important to hear. But that's going to be the end of the video. Like I said, I'm not sitting here saying I have an answer, but I would love to hear what you guys think, or if you have a similar experience, or like if you've lost a lot of weight, what you went through, down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear some stories down there. But I do want to say thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.